Hey y'all, welcome back to The Southern Citizen. Long time no see, or should I say, long time no hear. For our family, autumn of 2024 has been one for the books. It's been a season full of school, work, travel, and the general act of living life as best we know how. In an unexpected turn of events, it has also been a season of loss, a season of goodbye for now. My forever young mother-in-law, Miss Kay, slipped away into the next room, a room prepared for her by the Savior. During the days that followed her earthly departure, we looked for ways to celebrate Miss Kay. We searched through old photos, looking for the ones that captured her charm. We cut zinnias from our yard to use in countless flower arrangements. We requested folks wear color to her service because, after all, color was her favorite. And Roy G. Biv did folks understand the assignment. Florals, jewel tones, tie-dye, Hawaiian shirts, animal print, and even a few couples dressed in coordinating outfits. We saw it and loved it all. During the afternoon following her service, we asked folks to talk with us about Miss Kay. And that's what you're about to hear. During the hustle and bustle of a large family meal, folks sat and shared their perspective, their memory, their story of Miss Kay. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, so tell me your name.
Laura Newsom.
All right, tell me either your earliest or your favorite memory of Kay Staples.
So many good memories with Kay Staples.
That's right.
So probably some of the best ones I have is from the wedding. So much. We had a candy room, of course, created by KK.
For Jonathan, that was his groom's.
Oh, my goodness. It was not a groom's cake. It was a groom's room. And within the room was every kind of candy.
Candy bar, candy buffet.
Yeah, candy buffet. I don't think I'd ever heard of anything like that, for sure. But KK made it happen.
That's right.
Probably the thing that I want to say about Kay more than anything was that we shared 2 grandkids.
That's right.
And that it's always just been a joy to do. She was never, we were never in competition.
No.
We always shared them just with such passion, and we've had many parties, events. Usually in the congregation was both sets of grandparents, whatever was going on. And so she was, I just feel like we were blessed in that there was never any.
It was shared.
It was I don't know if the right word is co-grandparenting, but that's what we did. There was just a lot of enjoyment in everything that we did. We looked forward to being together. And I know sometimes families, that's not the norm sometimes, but it was always fun to be with her and to share with her. She was an encourager. To me, she was just one of the bravest people I know. She was an overcomer in my book of many things. She just was full of encouragement, and you wanted to be around her. She's one of those kind of people you always wanted in your corner, and that you wanted in the room, and she would brighten up the room anywhere she went. But
That's right.
loved Kay, and I just know that she made an impact on a lot of people, and I'm thankful that we were able to honor her today in such a special way.
That's right.
So we loved our KK for sure.
Thank you, Mom.
You're welcome.
Test.
All right. So, tell me your name.
Tim Harper.
Tim Harper. Tim Harper, I need to know your earliest and or fondest memory of Miss Kay Staples.
So I got called for jury duty, right? And this is right after, like, I'm in the midst of my first, young man crisis. I just flunked out of Ole Miss, didn't go to a single class. Anyway, so I'm working at Georgia Sporting Goods, going to USM, and, just trying to get back on track.
Right, trying to rebuild your life.
Well, at the time, I thought that was, I wish I could go back and be like, dude, it's cool, whatever. But anyway, I go to jury duty, so I have no idea how it's going to work, and I'm just stoked that I don't have to go to work, it's jury duty. I think it's going to be like a cool experience. and I sit down beside this lady for the first day. The first day they call everybody in, right? They're selecting for the grand jury, plus, hey, we may need you for this other not as important case. I don't know how the conversation went down. I am pretty sure that since I had to go to the courthouse and I had no idea what jury duty entailed, that I was wearing like a sport coat and probably some khakis. And again, I don't know how the conversation got started, but Miss K was like, I need you to call my daughter. Which, and that's why I'm telling you all of like the lead-in of where I was in my life, because she didn't need to know all that. She was like, here's a dude in a sport.
She had no idea.
She was like, we are in a courthouse. This dude is absolutely a lawyer or something. I don't know what the deal was. So anyway, maybe it was a 2-day process, and I saw her the second day. I can't remember, but so Rebecca, she texted me. Oh, I gave her my number.
So you gave your number to Kay.
Yes, and let the record also show that Rebecca did reach out to me first. So, which means, because immediately when that happened, I went and got text messaging put on my phone, which was a big deal because it was like X amount of dollars more a month.
But you didn't know you were supposed to. It was just kind of like it all happened simultaneously.
Well, no. I was like, I got to text Rebecca back. So Miss K is responsible for me having text messaging.
So that would have been what, circa 2007-ish? 2006? Because I remember when I first got text messaging and I was at State. And that was around 2006, 2007, maybe? It's
going to be around that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
wow.
But that's my the
origin story.
That's mine and Kay's first meeting. And thankfully she was very tolerant of me all the way.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Thank you for having me on, Hope.
Thank you. Okay, can you introduce yourself?
My name is John Caleb Stables.
All right, John Caleb Staples. What is your earliest or your favorite memory of KK?
When her hair was coming out.
Why is that your favorite memory?
No, it's my earliest.
Oh, that's your earliest.
About KK.
Okay, what's your favorite memory?
Did we get to hang out with her?
That you get to hang out with her? Okay, is that your favorite memory about KK? Yeah. All right, thank you, John Caleb. I love you. How old are you right now?
Is that it?
Yeah, how old are you?
7 years old.
7 years old. Okay. All right, can you introduce yourself?
I am Joshua Isaac Staples.
How old are you?
9.
9. And what is your favorite memory of Aunt Kay?
This memory is also kind of funny that I really liked that, like, when I was at John, Caleb, and Sydney's birthday parties, she would dress up as their birthday theme characters.
What do you remember her dressing up as? Do you remember?
Owlette, Elsa.
Uh-huh. That's exactly right. Owlette and Elsa.
I don't remember the other ones.
Okay. And how old are you, Isaac?
9.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that memory, okay?
Okay.
Okay, tell me your name.
My name is Tasha Harrington Reynolds.
And how are you connected to Miss Kay?
She is my aunt. She is my father's sister.
Okay, so can you share with me your earliest or your favorite memory about Miss Kay?
Okay. So a couple of years ago, I teach at a college near here, and my husband gave me a DNA test for Christmas, and so I wanted to know what my results were so that I could use it in my classroom. And so he bought me this for Christmas, and I never did it. COVID hit, and we were told that the college was going to be shut down, so we needed to empty out everything, our refrigerators, all that. So I had this test on my desk. So I took the test and I sent it off, and months went by. I ended up getting the results. I didn't match with anybody that I knew of, so it was no big deal. But then summer school came, and all of a sudden I get this inbox in my Facebook Messenger, and it's from this girl who actually did match with me. And she said, I know this is crazy, and I know you might not respond to this, but I took a DNA test, and it says that me and you are like 90-something% like linked, and I'm looking for my father. I've never known my father, and his name is Bernus Harrington. Well, so that is my dad's name. So immediately my heart dropped, and yes, that's my dad's name. And so immediately my heart dropped, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to kill my dad for cheating on my mom. Yeah. And so I didn't know like what to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't respond to this girl. I was freaking out. And so my Aunt Kay has always been my foundation. Like, she's always been my grounding. She's always like set the standards of what I wanted in marriage, how you respond to people, how everything. I mean, so I immediately texted her and I said, what are you doing? And she said, well, me and Sammy, Lynn. And so I knew she was with Uncle Sam. She was like, we're in Laurel. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to need you to get rid of him real quick. And I need you to meet me in Laurel. Like, this is a 911, and I've never told her that. I was like, this is a 911. We have got to meet up like today. She was like, well, can we meet tomorrow? I'm like, no, it's got to be today. So she dropped her whole schedule. She met me in Laurel. We met at McAllister's, and I said, I think my daddy cheated on my mama. And she was like, what? No. She's always positive. No. If she was going to call my name, it was going to be Tosh May.
That's right.
Tosh. Or it was going to be Beck, because she always called me Beck because she swears that, I look just like her. Everybody does. And so so we sat down, and she was like, what is so important? And so I gave her my phone, and I let her read the message, and she said, well, it's going to be okay, Tasha. We're just going to love your daddy through this. And she might not even be kin to us. She might not even be, she's not, we don't even know who this girl is. And she's just trying to talk me off the ledge. And I'm like, well, I got to go tell mom and dad about this. Like, I can't just keep this a secret. Like, this is serious. And not one time does she ever say that she could have another sibling. Like, nothing. It was always, this. So she walked me through, and I was like, I got to go meet mom and dad. And like, what should I say? Like, my family's fixing to break apart. So long story short, like, this is supposed to, like, I just need to know I can come to your house when I'm crying. It's basically what I was trying to get to. And so I went to my mom and dad's house, and I walked in, and that afternoon actually, and my mom was somewhere else, so I just talked to my dad, and I was like, okay, so look, we need to discuss something. And I was like, I got contacted today. Yeah. I said, I responded to this girl. I wanted to see her results. I needed her to send me some, documentation. I'm scientific. I need to see the data. And she did send me the copy of all of her stuff. And so I knew that it was legit because I had my, results earlier, months earlier. And I said, this is what her name is. She's looking for her father. That's your name. Are you her father? And like, all I'm doing is thinking of all the questions that Aunt Kay was like, well,
you're just laying the facts
I'm just laying the facts out, and since that's her brother, she was like, and they had a traumatic past, upbringing. So, yeah. I mean, it was, so, I mean, we didn't, it could be possible, okay? It could be possible. Right. And so I look at my dad, and he just is crying, and I'm thinking, he's guilty. Just by, like, facial features, like, yep, he's guilty. But he said, no, that's my sister. And like, my heart just dropped. And he said, I've been looking for her for, and he told me how many years, like, it was exactly how old she was. And I guess he knew that was a possibility, that he had a sister, but the shell explosion happened then. We moved back to Mississippi. Dad's back broke, so he stayed there. Like, and then everybody, like, dispersed, and I never knew about her, period. And Kay never knew about her, period. And so anyway, come to find out, I'm the reason that they found out that they had a half-sister. And wow. So when I went back to Aunt Kay and I said, okay, so I have a surprise for you. And she's like, what? And I was like, so that girl is not my sister. And she was like, see, I told you, the Lord just goes before us and he prepares a way. And I mean, she just was, celebrating. I said, but she is your sister. And so anyway, long story short, she, and they, were able to meet and have a relationship the last couple of years.
We've all been able to meet. It's really been a cool thing.
Yeah. So we love her to death. Her name is Summer. So
we love you, Summer.
Yep, we love you. But anyway, so that's probably my favorite memory.
That
is
is an awesome story. So I love how Miss Kay talked you through that crisis.
She did.
And,
She did. And then she got a surprise at the very end.
I love it. We got to get your dad over here to talk. I don't know if he's left yet or not. So
I don't know.
I see
think
him out in the parking lot.
Oh yeah, he's trying to get away. I think he's like, nah, I don't know if she wants any of my stories.
Well, we'd love to have him. Thank you, Tasha.
You're welcome.
Okay, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Janet Staples.
And how are you connected to Miss Kay?
Kay and I married brothers. I married Ben, and she married Sam.
Who married first? You and Ben?
No, Sam and Kay married. I think she was 18 when they got married, and then I was 23 when Ben and I got married.
Okay,
So,
awesome. So what would you say is either your earliest and or fondest memory of Miss Kay?
well, my earliest memory of Miss Kay is elementary school, and she and I were in the same grade at Shady Grove. I remember Kay had some go-go boots. And I wanted a pair, but she had some go-go boots. And they were white. They were cute.
Yeah.
And then she and I went to church together at the First Baptist of Shady Grove, and we were in the same grade and all that. Now, she went to high school at Heidelberg Academy, and I went to West, but we still went to church together, so I still, knew her from all of those years. I guess my fondest memory is when she and Sam lived in the trailer across the road from Mama Staples, and Ben and I lived in the trailer next door across from Mama Staples. And Mama Staples, this is permanent, isn't it?
Yeah.
She didn't like me and Kay too much because we took those baby boys, and Sammy Lynn.
So she didn't appreciate it?
No, she did not. And Sammy Lynn was really the baby.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I was pretty much okay, but Kay, bless her heart, Miss Staples.
She took her baby, huh?
She took her baby, and then we lived across the road from her. But Kay and I were pregnant at the same time.
Okay.
Jared was born in June, and Jonathan in December, so we lived next door to each other. And then Jacob was born in the next October, and then a year after that, Rebecca came along in, what's Rebecca's birthday?
She was January.
And then Abby in August.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we were pregnant together and kind of living there in a wad part of that time anyway. So, and then the tornado came through and blew both those trailers across the road.
Oh my goodness.
But we weren't living there.
Right. Mm-hmm. Wow.
So that's
I love
those
that.
are fun years. Those
That's
are the
amazing.
best years.
That's
yeah.
awesome, Aunt Janet. Well, thank you for sharing. Got anything else, or is that good?
That's good.
Okay. Okay, we thought of something else. What?
Kay was a good sister-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And she and Barbara and I had a couple of things in common.
Right.
Number one is God gave us a deep measure of love for these Staples men. Now, I'm sure the other people love their husbands, but the three of us, had that in common. It was just deep, immediate love for each other. We also, all three, had a wonderful bond in the love of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would not trade that for anything in the world.
That's right.
And I know that I'll get to see her again, and I'm
Amen.
thrilled.
That's awesome.
And the third thing I have to say that we had in common is we all tended to over-decorate.
You gotta always decorate.
We
right?
love our stuff. We all had such similar taste in what we did,
That's
and it
awesome.
was a sweet bond.
That's really sweet.
So.
Thank you, Aunt Janet, for
Okay.
sharing that. Okay, so tell me your name,
My name is Shay Riley.
and what is your connection to Miss Kay?
She is my aunt. She's my dad's sister.
Okay, and what would you say is either your earliest and or fondest memory of Miss Kay?
Oh, Lord. Honestly, Hope, I don't remember my first one because she's always been in my life since I was born. Obviously, she's my aunt. I remember so many years growing up, when my granny was still alive, and memories at her house with us in the woods. First off, why in the world did they let us go in the woods? I mean,
Unsupervised, just
now,
go in the woods.
well, not only that, but Granny lived in the country. Okay, so I'm talking about all of us cousins are out here.
You could get
on,
lost in the woods.
climbing on trees that probably have snakes right there on the ground, and not a single adult was watching us. Sorry, Uncle Sam. I know you probably were. I'm just going to pretend like you were. But, every single childhood memory that I have from my granny's house has my Aunt Kay in it. Because I was 12 when my granny died.
Yeah.
And so a lot of our time spent at Granny's house was as a family. Our aunts and our cousins were there. And so I have so many memories from that time. But I honestly think that my most favorite memories of Aunt Kay are my older ones.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
Need some tissue.
it's so different whenever first off, like I said, I was 12 when I lost my granny. So, you kind of look at that situation as a child and you don't understand the reality of it. And then when you lose someone like this at 40, because that's what I am, it's like she went from being my aunt to my friend.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
it's hard. But my favorite memories are, like I said, the older ones. My dad went through his health situation about 6 years ago, and Aunt Kay was there the whole time, and we were in constant communications, and she would come and visit. And before Dad ended up losing his leg, Dad and Mom had went over to Aunt Kay and Uncle Sam's house, and they were visiting, and the beloved Gabby ended up biting my dad.
She bit Jonathan, that dog.
Yes, she ended up biting my dad, and my most favorite thing, and I think about this all the time, is Aunt Kay literally tortured my dad with that memory for years after that, to the point, Hope, that she sent him a Christmas card from Gabby. And it had a picture of Gabby on it. When my dad was in the hospital, she brought a Christmas tree to the hospital, and she had made homemade ornaments on it, and it had all of our pictures on it, and a picture of Gabby that she put on the top. It was the largest one, and she used it as the tree topper while Dad was in the hospital. And then, just her coming to the house and riding the golf cart with Dad and saying that, he was forcing her to take pictures with him like, she was a celebrity. Yeah. And, just literally all of every memory of Aunt Kay has always, been very special and treasured memory. So
Awesome. Thank you, Shay.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so get in that
Do
microphone.
I have to do this?
You can put the headphones if you want.
What is that for?
It just helps you hear me talk better.
Oh.
Just put them on.
Try it.
You don't have to, but can you hear me now talking to you? So just be sure and talk into the microphone. All right, so tell me your name.
Sandra Smith.
Now, Sandra, how are you connected to Kay?
Kay is my sister.
Kay is your sister. Sandra, if you can, would you share with me either your first or your earliest memory of Miss Kay?
There are so many.
Mm-hmm.
But one I would like to share is just her and my husband had such a connection that what one didn't think of, the other one did.
That's right.
And she had come down to visit with us.
Uh-huh.
And I had went to work that day, and I come home, and Elsa was there every day. That whole week she was there. Something had happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd come home, and she had painted my cat's toenails, and every one of them was a different color.
That takes a lot of effort.
And then they would put powder all over my cat and bows and anything that they could think of.
I love that. I love that. I had a question I was going to ask you about Miss Kay, and I lost it. What was the difference in age?
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so you are
I'm the oldest.
you're the oldest sister. Okay, what about the heifer nickname? Where did that
Oh,
come
Lord.
from? Who was the heifer?
Well, she
Both
always
of
called.
you?
Well, she always called me Heifer. So then I started calling her Heifer back, and I like the Highland cows, so it kind of fit.
Yeah.
And then one of our things that we would always do is she would send me a text, "Good morning, Heifer," and send me a picture of a cow.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes out of the blue, I would send her one, or if I would say something that she didn't care for or that was not what she expected, she would send me a picture and say, "You're just a heifer." So heifer was our kind of nickname for each other.
Exactly. Well, through the years, I know you were like a master seamstress, and I've seen some of the things you've made for Miss Kay. Was there any certain thing you that you think back on that you gave her that was your favorite? Or I know you've done like the mason jar, like the cross stitch. I've seen that.
I've made a lot of
Okay.
stuff for her. But recently, I had made a quilt and given it to her, and it was in kind of maroon red colors, and she liked the white and blue, so I had made another one just like it, but in the red, white, and blues. And when she came to visit me a month ago, she had brought me some little buttons that said "Made by." And she said, "Here, you can start using these to put on your your
awesome.
quilts."
That's awesome.
She didn't know I had made this new quilt for her in her blue and white. So I sewed that button, the very first one out of the bag, on her quilt.
Awesome.
But because she had flu, she couldn't take it back with her, so I
You
was
had
going to
to-
bring it with her,
Yeah,
or
bring-
with me
yeah.
when I came this week, because we
Awesome.
originally had this planned anyway.
Yeah.
But now,
Well, you have showered her through the years with
Yes,
gifts.
I have.
And she loved you. She
But
always
she has
talked
me
about
too.
Sandra, the heifer.
yes, yes,
She loved y'all so much.
yes.
All right.
We
Well, thank
loved
you
her.
for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Can you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Rebecca K. Staples,
Okay.
and I am Kay's daughter.
That's right.
Yeah, and so this is my mom who passed, and so I have not a ton of brain cells right now, but I did put together some remarks for the funeral, so I just want to kind of share a few of those comments.
Perfect.
So in the hospital room, I was filled with unspeakable joy.
Yeah.
And I think that was a gift from God because Mom was a joyful person. And Hope, actually, your mom reminded me that God gives us joy that passes all understanding. And it definitely surpassed my understanding in that moment. But things that bring me joy.
They're leaving.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Things that bring me joy when I think about my mom and who she was and will be in heaven
That's right.
is her kind of bright nature, joyful personality. She chose joy in the face of a lot of early life adversity. And so a few stories. So one of the funniest memories I have of my mom was not funny at the time. When I was about 4 years old, I remember I was in the dining room under our old table. I have that table now. It is my breakfast nook table. I was sitting under the table for some reason, and she's like, "Beck," she's like, "So, you know you were adopted. Do you remember what your real mom looks like?" And of course I was like crying, went to tears, and she just thought it was the funniest thing. I learned later in life that is how Larry Parker, her Papa Larry, who was her adopted father, that's how he kind of raised his kids. Very practical jokestery. And I hope that's what you see in Jonathan, my brother.
Absolutely.
And so another thing, Mom, I didn't share this at the funeral, but that she would always tell me, you know, okay, I'm the baby, so I was always kind of dramatic, still am. And so one day I was crying. I was like, Mom, I'm not special. And so she then got me like a little bear that says, "You're special." And that has been the running joke in our family for years. You're special. Every card she's ever written me, it says, "You're special." Sometimes it's sweet. Sometimes she's sassy about it. So that's a fun memory. I really love her K-isms. I actually heard a few more, but I definitely want to share these. Okay. When you ask her what time it is, she's like, "Time for all dogs to die. You feeling sick?" So that was just a classic K response. She would often exclaim, "Well, I be John Brown." Or, as you reminded me earlier, Hope, she would say, "Well, foot." Instead of saying like, "Dang it," she'd say, "Foot."
She'd say, "Darn it." I've heard her say that.
Darn it. She'd always say, "What's that got to do with the price of eggs in China?" She called gas stations curb stores. Uncle Dean reminded me that she would pull her face back and say, help me, my ponytail's too tight." a few other things. She used to say, "Did it burn? Did it sting? Did your booty turn green?" And then comet will make you vomit, so eat your comet and vomit today.
Is that a commercial? Like,
I
where did
don't-
that come from?
I don't know, but Uncle Dean pulled me aside. He's like, "Oh man, I remember the comet song." She would also say, "Close but no cigar," and then "A dealer, a dollar, a 10 o'clock scholar." So she had a lot of sayings.
I feel like in recent years, she also really loved like pop culture and like memes and stuff. So like I remember she went on this kick about "Cash Me Outside" or what is it? How about that?
And like, "Bye, Felicia." And she'd be like, "Girl, bye. Boy, bye." Mom was, yeah. Oh, and we shared at the funeral how she loved like pump up, kind of like a jock jams type rap music.
Yes.
And I remember last Thanksgiving, the Tootsie Roll, the butterfly, that's old. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. We had a T-shirt with Pyrex dishes, and basically it said, "Let me see that casserole." So, I just, I could talk for hours, but just say that Mom was a beautiful soul inside and out, and she was just fun. She was just plain fun to be around, and she is my mom and my friend. And
That's right. She was I told someone earlier, I felt like Miss Kay was a noticer.
Yeah.
She noticed she noticed things about people, and then she would act on that thing that she had noticed about them, like if she knew you liked something or wore something, a certain color.
that's right.
She would try to be on the lookout for things. And when I first got into the family, I had to figure out a gentle way to tell her that I did not necessarily want every ornament or tchotchke that says hope on it. She loved in those early years to give me things that said hope on it. And I was like, Miss Kay, it's just a little weird to have my house full of things with my name on it. But being the first name, Hope, I mean, it's pretty easy to procure things that have that word on it. And she noticed, you know what I mean? And she finally stopped buying them for me.
But she always wanted to, because every time we were together, she'd be like, "I'd love to buy this for Hope, but I know I'm not going to, but I'd love to."
I
So-
mean, can't
I
you
get
relate
it.
to
I get
that?
it. I get it. Totally.
Yeah.
But
Good
Mom, I love you, and I will see you soon. And I will say the following. I was reminded this is the shortest time in our eternity on earth. So I'll spend most of my existence with you. Love you, Mom.
Okay, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Barbara Staples, Danny Staples' wife.
All right, awesome. And can you share? So Kay was your sister-in-law.
Yes.
Can you share either your earliest or your fondest memory of Kay, or if you have something prepared?
I do not have anything prepared. I've had a wonderful life knowing her. I've been married to Danny for right at 54 years. So she came into the family after we were already married, but loved her from the very start. I have something that I want to say, but I'm not going to, it's a secret, so I can't tell it. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks here in Laurel. I'd had colon cancer, and I had surgery, and I was to the point I really started to swell, so I could not handle my gown and all of this other stuff. The other Barbara Staples and Kay were at the hospital with me, and I had to go to the restroom. So they had to get me inside of the restroom. I was huge, and try to attend to my needs. Both of them were saying, "I cannot do this. I cannot do this." And Kay looked at me, and she looked at Barbara, and she said, if you can do it, I can do it too. So let's get in here and do this and take care and clean Barbara up. That's our little secret. But anyway, it was really, really funny. So from then on, both of them would say, if I said, "Can I ask you for a favor?" They'd say, no, we're out of here. We're gone. We're not doing that anymore. But that's my one little funny thing with her.
Yeah. She was always there to take care of people.
Always, absolutely.
Thank you, Barbara.
Okay.
And I'll tell you.
Okay, can you introduce yourself? Get closer
Yes.
to the microphone.
Oh, yes, I can. My name is Judy.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm Kay's sister-in-law. I'm Sam's sister.
Okay, very good. What number are you in the birth order? Do you?
I'm the one they call the seventh girl. I'm the
Seventh
seventh
girl.
son.
That sounds like the title of like a really good novel.
Well,
The Seventh Girl.
Yeah, I'm the one that, there's a song that says I'm the one they call the seventh son. I'm the one they call the seventh son. Don't
you're-
put that on there.
Okay, so Aunt Judy, can you share with me either your earliest or your fondest memory, or maybe your children may have shared a fond memory of Miss Kay?
Yes, when we heard about Kay's passing, my kids were so sad, and they were saying, Mama, one of the things that I remember best about Aunt Kay was when we were very young, when I was like 12 and 14, she took us to the movie to see E.T., and we loved it, and she did too. But when we walked out of the movie, she was crying like a baby. She had tears rolling down her cheeks. And I thought, she was so compassionate.
Absolutely.
For that E.T. that wasn't real. So, she just had a heart full of compassion.
So much. Well, thank you for that. Do you have any other memories?
I do.
Okay.
I have something that I want to say that I've never heard anybody else mention about her.
Okay.
And I'll never shut up, will I?
No, I love it. You go, girl.
No,
Don't be afraid of the microphone.
Okay. I've never heard anybody talk about how creative she was.
That's a great point. Please talk about that.
And I'm creative like that too.
You are. You are.
So she and I, we're kind of on the same page. We both did painting, and I always thought she did all this beautiful woodwork, and was always going junking and taking junky items and turning them into treasures. So,
Absolutely.
I thought that was pretty fabulous.
Mm-hmm. And I can remember going with Miss Kay to your house and digging up plants.
Yes.
I have some zebra grass from your house.
That's taken over and
It's
running your
trying
way.
to take over.
It will if you let it.
But I think I know I had to have been with Miss Kay that day, and we came and got flowers.
I remember.
From your
I
yard.
remember you got them.
Awesome. Those are wonderful memories.
They
Thank
are.
you, Aunt Judy.
You're welcome.
Okay.
You're next, darling.
Okay, introduce yourself.
My name is Leah Staples.
All right, so Leah, can you share with me either your earliest and or your fondest memory of Miss Kay?
Yes. Well, I think my very first memory of Kay would be when I was engaged to Jared, who is her nephew. When I first started dating Jared, I did not realize how big the Staples family was. And he told me that they were going to have a little Christmas get-together, little family Christmas get-together. So I said, well, I'd like to come to that. So we drive out to the Myrick Community Center, and I see about 50 cars, and I said, this is a little, like, who's all here? But
That's a relative term.
Yeah,
right?
I was really taken aback when the door opened, and I saw all of these people, and I was, a little nervous and couldn't connect who was who, but Kay was one of the first people to come up and give me a big hug and ask me who I was, and she wanted to get to the bottom of who I was, for sure.
She was trying to vet you, Leah.
Yes, in her loving way, but she wanted to know who I was, who my parents were,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those Staples Christmases can be kind of intimidating.
They were.
Those first few years.
They were, but she was fun, and she let me feel like I belonged there, and I think she probably said something like, are you sure you want to get in this crazy bunch?
Well, and I love the connection with your family because of, I know you were a Grafton, but the Morgan family.
Yes.
I always feel like the Morgans and the Staples share a lot of similarities in their size.
They do.
And,
It's very clan. It's like a clan,
And there's just a lot of overlap with like family and friendships with your cousins and our cousins, and so I love that so much.
Yeah. Well, Kay had a special way of making you feel seen, and just always having a kind word to say about you.
And she always wanted to know about how your kids were.
Yes.
And what were they up to?
Oh yes. And one thing I do know about Kay is she had that camera ready for, that phone ready for a picture.
Absolutely.
And so she was quick to say, oh, well, take a picture, or, let me take a picture. And I love that about her because I like to take pictures. And I think she just treasured memory. Like, she lived in the moment. She wanted to capture the moment. And she just lived in that. And I love that about her.
It's kind of inspiring. It's very inspiring, actually.
It is.
All right. Thanks, Leah.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, introduce yourself.
My name.
You can back up if you feel
Okay,
like it.
okay, yeah.
I can bring it. All right, who are you?
I don't want to eat the mic.
That's okay. Who are you?
I am Jared Staples.
And what's your connection to Miss K?
Miss K is my aunt.
Very good. Okay, and what would you say is your earliest and or fondest memory of Aunt K?
My earliest memory of Aunt K is going to the reunions that we used to have in Myrick.
Okay.
And so there's the old Myrick Community Center that is no longer there. And we would go to this community center and we would get together.
It's a white building?
With the old white
Yeah.
building, yes.
Yeah.
And that's when Jonathan and Rebecca would be there because they weren't living here at that time.
They were living in Poplarville, maybe. Or
Yeah, is that what it was? Wiggins?
At one point, yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry.
I think.
Yes, and we would get
Because Miss K called it Unpoplarville.
that sounds right. Yes. Okay. Good. And just being as a family, getting to play with everybody, and being there, and then fast forward in my mind to my next memory. They had moved into the house. What's the name of the road that they live on now in Myrick?
Freedom.
So Freedom, you know, you have the fork, and then in Freedom, they're on the right, and then go around the curve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there was an old house on the left.
Mm-hmm.
They lived there for a time, and we went over there. My parents went over there, and I think they played Monopoly.
I'm sure.
And don't tell anybody, but I think they put a little money down, little dime, 5 cents a dime here or there when they played. And so when I wear my Monopoly socks that you can't
see those.
see.
Pick that foot back up.
Yeah.
I noticed those earlier. I didn't realize they were Monopoly. Wow.
Yes. That's goes back to like the earliest memories I have of them and being in that house and being with them, and then just over the years, going over to Jonathan's house or going over to their house on Freedom Road, you know, and just all the stuff that we used to do over there. And the latest memory I have, or some of the more recent memories, is I live in North Laurel, and the North Laurel subway is the jam for all the folks. So the postal office and then AT&T guys, if they're in the area, that's where they're eating. So sometimes I would see Uncle Sam there, but then sometimes Kay and Sam would be there.
Yeah.
And I just remember, like, if you're having a bad day at work and I got to go get something really quick, I don't want to sit at home, I'm working at home, and I want to go to the North Laurel subway, and Sam and Kay are there.
Wow.
And I'm getting my sandwich, and, you know, I'm like, man, Sam and Kay are here. I'm going to talk to them, and my life is going to be better for a few minutes at lunch. And, yes, those are my memories. And I will say this as an aside. I thought about, when I saw the podcast picture at the funeral of you guys sitting around the table, or Kay was sitting around the table, and it reminded me, because I had done this once with somebody else, and I was like, I need to do this more often with people that I know, to record those moments with them and let them have a long form recording of their moments and their memories, and how precious this will be, or that recording will be for the family.
For the years to come.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah.
That picture was when we interviewed Kay's Aunt Rachel, Meemaw, that helped raise her.
Oh, okay.
So that was our interview. And Kay was on that podcast helping Meemaw kind of recall things. And so she shared some of her own stories there. So, yeah.
Did you ever interview Kay, just you and Kay? Or?
No.
Okay.
I never could get her to. You know,
yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard sell sometimes with people.
Yeah, and I did it with the guy that I was telling you that I did it with, and I want to do it with more people. And it's like, when he's got the gift of gab, will talk your head off, and then I have this thing, and I turn it on, and the red light comes on, and it's like people forget how to talk because they get intimidated. So I mean, I could see where doing this.
So, well, thank you, Jared, for sharing those thoughts.
Thank you.
A great story, other than...
Well, hey, introduce yourself.
I am Heath Ishii.
What's your connection to Miss Kay?
So that kind of goes into what I wanted to share, because I don't know that any of y'all knew that I first met her at the middle school, because that was the first year it opened, right?
Yeah.
She worked the front office.
Our 7th grade year?
Our 7th grade year.
Yeah.
That was the first time I met.
Was she in the front office there?
Yeah. It was her and Wesley's mom.
Yeah,
Krista. Yeah. So it was them two working the front, and I mean, that was just my first memory of her whenever I was, had no clue what I was doing. I was a new student because I didn't come from any of those elementary schools.
You came from...
So I was learning new people from that point, and, she was just took care of me, Yeah. And that was probably before I even really met Jacob, because Jacob was the one that was in my grade.
Yeah, that's right.
And eventually started hanging out with him. But yeah, that first year, 7th grade, was the first time I met any of y'all. And
because you had been at a different elementary school than all of us, right? So I
was at Shady Grove from kindergarten to 6th grade, and then my dad was at East, so they just wanted me to go to the same high school, so I just show up in 7th grade, and like literally the first person I meet is Miss K.
Awesome. So she took care of you, huh?
Yeah.
You're your school mom.
Yep.
Well, over the last few days, we've been reminiscing about how, and you may not want to talk about this, but like hanging out at Jonathan and Rebecca's house, how like Sam would be like, I would just get up and like Heath would be on our couch asleep, or like, did you spend a lot of time there?
I did, because they turned into my family across the county, because I still lived almost in Jasper County, and if there was any reason for me to be on the east side, I would, instead of going back and forth, I would just hang out. And
Did your parents know Kay and Sam before all this?
No, like they just took me in, and I just hung out and stayed with them a lot.
But your parents were like,
yeah,
no problem.
So here, the thing with my parents is like my dad was completely invested in coaching, and so I was just a blip at that time.
Not true.
And my mom worked out of town.
Okay.
So I mean,
so there was no background connection between Kay and Sam and your. Okay.
No.
So they just knew they were good people.
Yeah.
Huh?
And I guess that I clicked with them in some way, and they just brought me in.
Wow.
And I was crashing on their couch.
So when did you and Jonathan become friends?
So I didn't really start hanging out with Jonathan until after high school. It was.
So you and Rebecca were friends first.
Yeah, because I met Rebecca in class and was friends with her before I ever met or hung out with Jonathan.
Y'all were friends at GNC, huh? Is that
That's
that
whenever
started?
it really kicked off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Kay looked out for you, huh?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heath.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
That was it.
Okay, introduce yourself.
Jacob.
What's your name? Jacob. All right, what's your connection to Miss Kay?
So that was my aunt.
Okay, what is your earliest and/or fondest memory of Miss Kay?
So earliest, they lived in a little yellow house over in Myrick, just up the hill from where they live now, and we would go over and stay with Jonathan and Rebecca, spend the night, and she would make chocolate biscuits, and that was pretty amazing.
That's
Jonathan
awesome.
had Ninja Turtle everything, so yeah.
Awesome. And then did y'all ever all get spankings or anything like that? Did y'all ever all get in trouble together?
I always dodged that. I lied my way out of it, so yeah.
All right. Well, Miss Kay's famous for her chocolate and biscuits.
Yeah,
that's an awesome memory.
But see, that's the last time I had them was when I was little, so I missed out. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had them, so you got more on it than me. So.
If it stuck with me from a kid,
That's
it
right.
was pretty amazing.
All right. Thank you, Jacob.
All right. That's my Uncle Jeff.
They favored, don't they?
I definitely have a lot of my mom's side of the family.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hey, I'm Jonathan Staples.
Yeah. And you are the firstborn of Miss Kay. And you happen to be my husband. You got any memory of your mama you want to share real quick?
Yeah, Mom is the only person that has ever called me and then hung up on me. And I was so mad.
What happened? Multiple? Well,
I think that happened many times.
Like y'all would be fussing and then she would just...
she would make me so mad. And then she would just hang up. I'm like, what?
What about that time? Tell about when you cut your hair and you went over to see her.
Yeah, I shaved my head and I went from like shaggy hair to straight razor.
Why? Just because?
Just because.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Just because.
Yeah.
And, excuse me,
Then what?
went to Mom's.
Were you living at home at the time?
No, I went over there on my off day just to say hey, and she immediately met me at the door wondering, like, I can't believe you did this. It's terrible. This is horrible. And I just, like, immediately turned around and got in the truck and left. So we had
But y'all made up.
Oh, yeah.
What about, didn't one time, like, she thought a dog was dead in the road and she called you or something to come over?
Oh, yeah. One of our Dalmatians, I got out there and the dog was out in the road and laying on its side.
She
and
was
so,
upset?
Yeah. Her and Beck were upset. I don't even know if Beck remembers this, but I got out there with a shovel and it looked up at me and then stood up and stretched and walked off. It was asleep in the road. And people were just driving around it.
Oh, my gosh.
I guess everybody thought it was dead.
That's good.
So,
Any more K memories right now?
Not right now. I am really tired. What else? I don't know. Mom used to always ask me if I swallowed an elephant.
Huh.
Because, I mean, why do you think?
You and your mom did share a very interesting connection.
We had a interesting sense of humor.
What else? She liked those Jesse Duplantis.
Yes, those are good
jokes. Like, y'all would always laugh about that. All right, is that all you got right now? Somebody mentioned chocolate and biscuit earlier. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that was amazing. I need to, that's something. I thought everybody growing up had chocolate and biscuit, but no.
So she would make that.
She would make that all the time, yeah. I just remember she would always make it using Hershey's cocoa or cocoa powder and then butter and sugar and milk or whatever you put in it.
Yeah.
So, right. Yeah, she will be missed.
Well, thank you for sharing.
I'll tell David to come over here.
Yeah, go get me somebody else.
All right.
All right, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Dean Parker.
All right, stay in that microphone, Dean.
Well,
all right, what's your connection to Miss K?
I guess when I was 9, 10 years old.
Okay.
I guess my parents, she came to live with us and they adopted her.
Yeah. How close in age are y'all?
I'm 61. She was 66.
Oh, okay.
5 years.
I didn't realize that. Okay. So what would you say is your earliest or favorite memory of Miss K?
Well, the earliest memories is going out to Mama's and my mother, for whatever reason, connected with her and her coming and staying with us some, you know. And I even remember we went to Florida one time to Naples or whatever, see Aunt Helen and Kay and Ray was there.
Okay.
And Sandra.
So this was before she came to live with y'all?
Yeah.
Okay. Any favorite memories? Did she ever do anything crazy or?
Oh, there's a lot of memories. And now, Rebecca was, because I was telling my family, like, Kay messing with Rebecca about being adopted. But see, before, she had a lot of practice with me. Because, like, I know one particular time it was her and Cindy Buston. I was in bed asleep, 11 years old probably, and they put stockings over their heads with oranges on top of their heads under the stockings and put pencils, and then woke me up. And sometimes it would just be a stocking. So she had a lot of practice before Rebecca ever got here.
Okay, so you were among her first victims, huh? Where did she get that from? That sense of humor, you think? Larry, or where did it come from?
Now later on maybe because.
But she came here like that, right? Like
that was just Kay. I mean, I guess she was born with it. But now later on, like we'd be at the house and at night, my daddy would cut the lights off and we would hide, and he would walk around the house and making noises, and it's kind of weird now that I'm finding out that that's a legacy that's kind of being handed down, you know.
I can remember Miss Kay talking about y'all going down to the river, maybe.
Well,
y'all had a boat.
we had a camp down there.
Yeah, y'all spend time down there.
Yeah.
And I remember her talking about laying out and getting a tan.
We'd go out to the islands and they'd drop us off like Horn Island or whatever, and
What'd you think about her coming to live with y'all? Or it just felt kind of like the right, I mean, did you ever think much about it, or?
It just, not really, because she would come to the house a lot.
Okay.
And I was younger, and I was the only child. I was spoiled rotten, but it was fun, except
Yeah.
Sometimes Kay had a little temper at times, and she would stick her tongue out and bite it and come at you with a full frontal attack, and she could get pretty rough.
Oh, my goodness.
And then she liked to do her knuckles up like that and frog you. She'd say,
okay.
Let me frog you.
So y'all really were like brother, sister, huh? She didn't hold back.
Oh, no. She did not hold back at all. And then she always did the pulling her hair back and saying, Mommy, my ponytail's too tight. Or
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Or she'd be
else?
there doing the thing, I lost my electric toothbrush. And
I've never heard about that. Oh
yeah.
my goodness.
And it goes on.
Did y'all ever have to like share a room or anything like that?
No, she had her own room.
Okay.
I had my room. She had the best room.
The girl of the family, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
because they ended up adding on to the house, so we could both have a room.
Wow.
And then I was talking with Sam just then, and I was looking at some of the pictures, and I thought when Kay was getting married, because they was talking about their first house, and somebody said something about an apartment, a trailer, and I said, well, no. I said it was 2nd or 3rd Avenue or something. I remember going over there because she had her white and orange Maverick.
Oh.
Probably a 75
Yeah.
Ford orange and white Maverick.
Okay.
But I remember going and seeing the house prior to her and Sam getting married that they was going to rent. But I thought she was marrying a Hell's Angel.
For real? So it was a big to-do?
Well, no. Sam had quite a reputation, I think.
Did he really? So his reputation preceded him?
And I was thinking she was marrying this Hell's Angel guy.
Hang on one second. Hey, Shannon, can you tell him to go somewhere else this week? Okay, just because so you knew about him? Or you knew of him?
I was younger. I was probably 12, 13, 14, whatever. Well, probably my daughter's age now. And he smoked cigarettes.
Did you go to the bowling alley like they did?
No, I went
you were
to
a little bit
skating
younger,
ring.
okay.
Yeah, I think I was way.
Were you at their wedding?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you participate, or you just attended the wedding?
I was just at the wedding.
Okay.
But that's what we was talking about. But it was funny that initially he wasn't well liked, and then a year or two later they're at the house and we're all playing Monopoly to midnight every night, which I think Kay finally got a little tired of that too.
Yeah, he never quit playing Monopoly though, so that's awesome.
And then we'd sit at the table and eat,
Mm-hmm.
and my daddy was a jokester, and so we'd start talking about things, roaches, worms, and we're sitting at the table, and my mother would get upset. And one night she got so upset she went up to the Roses. I don't know if you remember where Roses, the Roses parking lot, and read a book. Because every night it was the same old thing. We would all start talking about picking your nose, whatever it was, and
Rachel was just over it, huh?
She couldn't, or she'd go in her room and read a book, and then we would just wreak havoc. So yeah, there's a few
good times, huh?
It was good times.
Okay.
It was really special, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but
love it.
And then I remember her and I went to see my Uncle Bill and Aunt Jean when they lived in Lafayette, which that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
And that was fun going down there with her, and because they was rich. I mean, we went and ate at fancy restaurants. We didn't eat at no fancy restaurants in Laurel, but and they had a big 2-story house, and it was.
That was awesome.
It was awesome. Game room, pool tables, swimming pool.
She was fortunate to have you. So
I was fortunate to have her.
That's right. Well, any other parting thoughts?
No, I mean, you know, Sam and I, we did discuss briefly her jumping out of his truck.
We had him tell, because I've heard Miss Kay's brief version of that story before, but I've never heard it from Sam's perspective, and so he shared some of his side of the story, if you will. with us a few days ago, and that was good to hear him talk about that story. And
Yeah.
just the hilarity, like how crazy is that story? So,
Yeah, she.
do you remember when that happened?
Oh yeah, I remember when it happened.
Okay.
I didn't know why it happened. I mean, initially I think the rumor was he pushed her out, but but after that, the relationship changed between my parents and him. Next thing you know, my daddy's coming in. Man, Sam can fish. He can make anything because he was laying brick then. He can make anything. It went from an outlaw to
What do you think changed? Like, just because it scared him, or like, what do you think happened in that situation?
I do not know.
Because he said the exact same thing. Like, after that, it was like the relationship mended and things were.
Probably that he cared.
Yeah. That he took care of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be one thing.
Yeah.
But
that's good, Dean. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing about Miss Kay.
All
right.
That is. Thank you.
All right, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Sam Staples.
All right, Sam, I want you to share maybe either your earliest and or fondest memory of Miss Kay.
Well, I'm going to share two funny stories.
Okay.
First one being, we were married less than 6 months, and we were in and out of Mom's house pretty regular. Mom always wanted us to spend the night. So we decided we'd spend the night. And we had a rollaway bed, a couch that lets out into a bed in the back room. So we decided we'd sleep there. So Kay and I got in the bed, and maybe just a little bit later, here comes the grandmother. She got in the bed with us.
In the middle?
Well, maybe so. I don't know what the
arrangement was.
Yeah, not really. I don't remember Karen's reaction, but
did she stay there all night with y'all? She slept in the bed.
I don't know, Hope. I really don't know. I don't remember.
That's a good one. Okay.
But that's pretty funny.
Then what?
The next one is Kay and I had like a date night in Hattiesburg one night. And we drove down to Hattiesburg, and like all newlyweds, we really got into a fight, pretty much. And she just said, "Take me home." So I said, "Okay." And we got in the truck, go up Highway 49, access the on-ramp to Highway 59, and as we were going up, she decided she didn't want to be in the truck with me, trying to get away from me, and started to jump out of the truck. So I grabbed the shirt and I jerked her back in, and I said, "What in the world?" And she said, "That's okay. I'm okay now. Just okay." So we continued on, got up to about 30 or 35, and next news I know, she had jumped out the truck. And I looked in the rearview mirror, and I remember this, and there she was. She was just a flopping, rolling over.
Was it at night, right?
It was
dark.
It was dark.
And there was no other cars around?
No cars coming, thank God, or she would have been run over. She would have been crushed. Anyway, I backed up, got out, got her in the cab, and she, I don't know if it was the first thing she said or that we talked about it later. She said, "I just couldn't quit rolling over." Oh, gosh. Anyway, so I speedily came to the law emergency room, took her in, and they took her in, kind of asked the questions, and I told them what happened. And they were taking her back to surgery and sedating her all at the same time. And this is hilarious to me. She said, "Where's Sam? Where's Sam?" And the doctor looked at her and said, "Why do you want to know where Sam is? You got jumped out of the truck to get away from him."
You've been trying to get away from him.
That's right.
Oh, man.
Those are a couple of funnies. There are many more.
Can I ask you to tell one about when you brought Miss Kay to meet your mom for the first time?
Yes, you can.
Okay, tell me about what happened.
Well, I decided, well, you know, I loved Kay when I first saw her.
Mhm.
You know, I've told
That's
y'all
right.
that.
Would you
And
say love at first sight, you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do. And of course, she didn't have love at first sight, but as you well
That's
know,
okay.
and that's okay. But anyway, after we were dating, I thought, you know, if we're going to get married, I need to introduce Kay to my mother.
Yeah.
And so it was Friday night, and it was where the time changes, where it gets dark about 5 or 5:30.
Yeah.
And we drove up at Grandmother Staples, and there wasn't any lights on, maybe one in the kitchen, and it wasn't very bright because we had a lot of trees that blocked moonlight, starlight, any kind of light. And I said, well, just hold on. Let me go in there and see what in the world. I mean, it was really, really dim. And I went in, and I didn't find her, so I come back out, and we walked around to the corner of the house. And Grandmother met us about the corner. And I'm just trying to remember, this may not be actually accurate. She met us at the at that point, and it was kind of dark. So we walked back around and turned the lights on. Grandmother had blood all over her hands. And I talked to Kay later, and she said I was freaking out, man. I mean, she said, I didn't know what was going on. Anyway, Grandmother had killed a chicken. She was plucking the chicken.
And this is Opal, right?
This is
okay,
Opal.
Yeah, so she had just
just
preparing
killed
supper, huh?
preparing a meal. She had killed the chicken, and she had blood all over her hands, and it just really kind of freaked Kay out.
As it should.
Well, apparently it wasn't terribly.
Not too bad. She got over it, right?
She got over it, and we still got married.
That's right.
So.
So what about whenever you took Miss Kate? Didn't you take her to meet your dad, like at the church house or something that time?
Yes, I will tell you that
Miss
story.
Kate told me that story.
Well, we found out we was pregnant with John.
Okay, so y'all are already married at this point. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I was thinking this was when you were introducing him.
Oh,
okay.
No. This
Okay.
is when she was pregnant.
Okay.
And with Jonathan.
Okay.
You know
yeah.
who that is.
I know who Jonathan is.
Okay. And she said, well, we need to go tell your dad. And of course, all my siblings going to understand this. Anyway, we went down to the Glade Church, and Dad was in there. And we walked in, and Kay had on a pair of shorts. That was a no-no at Dad's church. You know that, and I know that. Anyway, she walked in, and we were going over there, and before we could say anything, Dad said, young lady, you must exit this church. So, needless to say, we didn't get to tell Papa Staples, but...
So he'd been knowing Miss Kay for years, huh?
Yeah, well, we had been married 7 years.
Well, yeah.
I know, yes. But, you know, that's the way it was in that day. But it's okay, you know.
I remember she talking about, maybe was it when Jonathan was born? I just remember she used to always say, as soon as he came out, she was like, he looks just like Garrick. Have you ever heard her say that?
Yes. And she said that recently, actually. He's him, you know.
He was like, or what about Miami Vice? Maybe y'all were watching TV, or there was something about Miami Vice, or something, or maybe I'm making that up.
When I was
When
born.
what is it, Rebecca? When you were born here?
Okay, what about when you were born? Okay, so the doctors said, oh, you're not going to have this baby for a while. And Mom always told me that you went down to get food in the hospital. It was a Friday night.
That's
And
right.
she was watching Miami Vice.
It's a Friday night tonight.
It is a Friday night. And she said that's when she had me.
Yes.
It's like the doctor had walked out. Y'all had walked out to go get food. Nobody was in there. And she went into labor.
That's right, about a 2-hour delivery.
That's all she wrote. Well, that makes me think of when I was in the hospital with John Caleb, I think maybe. and y'all had kind of been hanging out in the room with us for a while, and I think maybe you had the TV on like Star Trek or something, and all the nurses, like I think it's after y'all had stepped out, but Star Trek was like still on the TV, and I was just like laid up in the bed, and like every like medical professional that came through the door would be like, "Oh, do you like Star Trek?" And I was just like, no, like it made me so mad because they just all kept asking me, "Oh, you like Star Trek?" And I was just like.
You're like, I'm burying.
Sam, get in here and change this channel. No.
They probably all like Star Trek.
Yeah, which I do like Star Trek, but I was just like, no, it just made me so mad.
You should have said, I'm burying the next generation.
That's right, the next generation.
Great job,
Good
Beck.
job, Rebecca. Oh my gosh,
funny.
I've been over here prodding him along with some stories that I've heard Kay give.
Did he tell the car story?
Oh yeah, that was his first story. Yeah, and then I made him tell the chicken blood hand story about Opal. So, lordy. And then Rachel Hull was trying to tell something about maybe one day Rachel stopped by y'all's apartment or something to check on y'all or something, and maybe y'all had been fussing or something.
Lisa told me that a while ago.
You don't remember that?
No. When you're newlywed,
Yeah.
you fuss and fight.
There's a
Or
lot.
we did.
There's a lot going on.
Well, what Lisa told me is that y'all were newlyweds and y'all had gotten into an argument. So Aunt Rachel invited Mom, not you, to stay with her, and that maybe you had called. And there were 2 rotary phones, and one was in Aunt Rachel's bedroom and one was in like the kitchen. So Mom took it in the back bedroom for some privacy, but Lisa said I just went and climbed up in the bed, and she said,
just like listening.
yeah, she said your mom like didn't like shoo me away, and she was sitting cross-legged, so I sat cross-legged, and I was just there like as she and Sam were talking,
providing support, like
Yeah.
you know. That's good.
Lord have mercy.
And then Dean said something about Miss Kay had a orange and white Mercury.
Maverick.
Maverick.
Maverick. You want to hear a really funny story?
Yeah, of course. Do I?
Oh gosh, I'm beginning to remember a lot of stuff. We fought a lot in the first year, and she got mad one day, and I got mad one day, and we were both over at Mother's, and I said, "Fine, I'll just leave." So I got in my truck, took off, just boom, you know. Well, she got in the car and got right behind me. And I tried to lose her, and I couldn't.
A high-speed chase.
It was a high-speed chase.
How did it end? What happened? Did you finally stop?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but this is the running joke. Every time I go somewhere over the last few years, she said, "You ain't going out me. I'll be right behind you."
That's hilarious. I love that. Like,
Said, "If you stop, I'll run right into you."
that's right. She'll rear end you.
Yeah.
You couldn't lose her, could you?
I couldn't lose her. No, still couldn't lose
No,
her.
absolutely not. No.
Don't want to lose
No,
her.
absolutely not.
I'm now thinking that will be her angelic being like nickname Maverick.
Maverick. The Maverick.
That's right.
The
That's
Maverick.
right.
Oh my
She'll
gosh.
be chasing you with those wings.
Any other good? I can't really think of any right now. That I'm just trying to think of things Miss Kay's told me. But
What was her reaction when y'all told her, like that you were pregnant with John Caleb?
okay, what did we do?
Were y'all together? I can't recall.
How did we do that? I'll have to think.
I know how you did
How
that.
did I do it? Remind
We
me.
had a reveal party.
I know, but
At
how
your
did
back.
we tell her I was having a baby though?
I don't know about that, Hope.
I think we showed her an ultrasound picture. We gave my dad, I remember with them, we were like over there and like handed him a cigar. How did we tell y'all?
I was just, I'm not recall either, but I was thinking it was probably like, she was probably like, oh my God.
I'm gonna have to think on that. Like, that's weird that we don't remember that. But I know it was a.
I remember the party because I remember when you popped that balloon.
Oh
and
yeah.
all that
But you
balloon
knew
shit.
he was a boy, right?
I did know that. I did.
That's a great. I just don't remember, Beck. I do remember your mom went with me at least one time to the doctor when Jonathan couldn't go, and Like she just was like she like cried whenever like they did like the
She was in hog heaven.
like the they
The
didn't do a
heartbeat?
yeah they don't I don't think they did an ultrasound that day, but she got to hear like the heartbeat and it made me kind of feel bad at that point because I was like, you know, kind of checked out emotionally, I guess. Like, but for her, it was like, you know, I guess I'd been to so many appointments at that point. I was just like, but for her, it was just like the most amazing thing, you know. So.
That made her day.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I was happy to have her
made her
there.
day.
Happy to have her there
Her
with me.
Her dream come true.
Absolutely.
Oh, goodness.
Well, you got anything else, or?
I have some more, but I have
Do you
to
have
think
a
on it.
proposal story? Was there like a proposal, or was it just discussed that you're getting married, or how did that come to be?
I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, was there a ring, or did y'all just
Yes.
kind of talk about it? Was getting married on your radar ever, or until you just like, okay, I love this? You wanted to get married?
Yeah, I told you I loved her.
No, I mean before you met Miss K. Like was.
Oh no,
Okay.
no. I mean, I was having a good time. Hey, boy, who wants to get married?
That's what I'm saying. Like before
No,
that.
not really. But once we started going out and all that, you know, that was pretty much it.
Do you think there was a proposal, or was it more casual?
Yeah, it was casual, but it was not the normal proposal. I had bought her basically an engagement ring.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas time.
Perfect. Christmas time.
You
She-
I don't
okay.
need to hear. I know.
Okay. So it was
It
Christmas.
was Christmas time, and we were at Mom's, and I said, I got something for you. And she sat down in the rocking chair, and I said, I got this. She said, are you asking me to marry you?
She like went before you, huh? Took the words out of your mouth.
I said,
What is happening?
yes, I am. And there we were. That was the end of that. It wasn't
So
like,
you said yes to her.
maybe so.
You said yes. Oh my gosh.
Well, you know. Oh gosh.
Was your mom
Anyway.
there? Like, was she in the room? Or
I
like,
think it was. I think.
Was she also a part of this moment?
Mom was there, but there was nobody around.
Yeah, it was like
This
a private moment.
Yeah, it was very private.
that's hilarious. So then, what's the timeline? That's like a Christmas engagement, and then y'all got married the following April.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's right.
It's a pretty long
Of course,
engagement. I feel like for that.
We kept it on the DL till they had. You know, it wasn't the best thing. You know, you've talked to Dean. They did not pick me out.
Right. Did she wear the ring immediately, or did she hold off on that? You think?
You know what? I don't really know.
Okay. If y'all kept it on the DL.
Yeah. I'll tell you what we did do.
Mhm.
We went to sleep every night on the phone.
That is so sweet. Oh.
Because where were you? Were you living at your mama's house? So
Yes.
y'all would just stay on the
Yeah.
phone with each other and talk.
We'd just talk, man. We'd just go to sleep. No, pick up the phone the next morning. I better hang it up.
That's awesome. That's like so sweet.
Anyway, one more argument story. Now, we did a lot of fighting. I
Okay.
hate it.
And I'm thinking of questions right now, too, to ask.
I hate it, but that was just the way it was till we got adjusted to one another.
Yeah.
You know,
Till she trained you.
well, and that may be the case, but when you're 20 and 18, you barely out of diapers. So,
Yeah.
you know, our first apartment was on 2nd Avenue. It was an upstairs apartment. And, of course, one night we had a fight. And she walked out, and I was just walking behind her, and we walked out front. And she said, I don't want to be married, blah, 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 blah. And she took the rings off and threw them down the street. And I said, okay. Anyway, what do you say? I went and tried, and in about 20 minutes, I went down there trying to find them.
Mm-hmm.
And she was gone. Well, somebody had already picked them up. Yeah,
So
they were gone.
Oh, my gosh.
And about 2 or 3 weeks later, some guy come up there and said, "I got a good set of wedding rings if you want to buy 'em."
Did you have to buy them back?
No, we didn't buy them back. but I'm quite sure it was our rings.
I feel
but
certain they were.
that
So,
was-
where did that ring come from? Where did you go buy it?
I bought that at Zales.
Oh, that's where my ring came from.
It was a nice- It was a nice ring.
I'm sure it was.
We got a second set, and they were thrown away some way or the other. I'm being very serious.
I've heard her talk
How
about
many
it.
rings have you
This-
I've heard this
thi-
story.
this-
She came home, took her jewelry off, and
Took
it
her
was
jewelry
never
off.
to be
It's
seen
gone.
again.
Yeah, there was no arguing in this scenario.
Yeah, no.
No. We just some way they got.
Yeah.
I'm assuming thrown away. I
Yeah.
don't know. The set we have now is the set I replaced them with.
Okay.
So this is a period of 40 years, probably. The first set, the second set was maybe 10 years,
Yeah.
maybe. And then the third set, I can't put a timeline on
I
it.
remember that's
but-
in the last 5 years, probably, don't you think? Or maybe
it's
more?
been- yeah,
like
probably
10.
10 years? Okay, I just kind of
Yeah.
remember y'all looking at rings and
Yeah,
stuff. and-
we got a really nice set. You know,
How many rings have you lost?
I have my first one.
That's it right there?
No, I don't ever wear it. It's gold. I never wore a ring till
Yeah.
we went to Ireland.
Are you serious?
Every day, never.
I didn't know that.
Never wore a ring. I just.
With work and such.
Well, yeah, and you know, rings touch electrical stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I just didn't wear it.
A practical concern.
Yeah,
Well, you know, and so I didn't wear it. It's in perfect shape.
that's awesome.
Wrote "I love you" on the inside of it. You
Aw.
can see it perfect.
Well, that's a treasure then. It's a treasure.
Yes.
Dad, did you share a memory about your vow renewal in Ireland?
Oh, we haven't even talked about Ireland.
I didn't, but I have one thing to
Okay.
say about it. Which I loved that trip. It was beautiful. She made it beautiful. That was wonderful.
Oh, it was
That
amazing.
wonderful.
Trip of a lifetime.
Yes. Our minister, minister, which I don't know.
Wiccan, as Jonathan said.
I don't know what she was, but she was a multi-congregational pastor is
It was
what she said.
interfaith.
Interfaith pastor. But one thing she did good, she made that little knot thing, and we went around in a circle and pulled apart, and then we tied the knot.
That's right. And that is on a shelf in your living room, right?
Yes,
Miss
it
Kay
is.
has it on
Yes,
it's
it
on
is.
display.
It is.
I've seen it. That trip was awesome. I don't know that I've ever laughed that much on a trip.
We had a good time.
We had a
did.
flat tire and
We met the third in line to the Irish Republic, whatever,
That's
Mark
right.
Daly.
That's
Yes,
right.
that was very interesting.
And he commented
It is
on
good.
Miss Kay's green that
Yeah.
she wore.
He did, and he wanted to throw me out because I was a Republican and he was a liberal.
Oh, it was fun.
And
Oh,
mom's ears had to get adjusted to the Irish language.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes, you're right.
But that was a beautiful day. I remember trying to stand there and think about how fortunate we were that the weather was so
It was beautiful.
nice and I think we're the only people that might have ever gone to Ireland and gotten a sunburn. I mean,
Yeah.
I literally got a sunburn. So, I know
There
I'm
was no
pretty pale.
rain, right?
Yeah,
None at all.
never.
You a white girl, Hope.
I am
That's
a
why
white-
you got sunburned.
I got tan.
It was in May. It was like the beginning of summer. I hadn't gotten
know.
my tan yet. So
I will
Your
say
base
this.
tan.
I remember getting off the airplane and Miss Kay looking at me and she's like, "That first class, that's the way to travel, Hope." And I was like, "Well, just let me get
Oh,
my
man.
bag out of coach, Miss Kay. Don't mind if I do."
Well,
Oh, gosh. What was your other story? I'm sorry.
no, I don't have another one, but I will say she looked very beautiful.
Absolutely.
It was something she wanted to do forever.
That's right.
And I'm so glad she got to do it.
And you seriously didn't prepare those vows ahead of time?
I seriously did not.
It was amazing.
Oh, I thought, well, I mean, I was thinking about what I
Yeah.
was going to say. I didn't write anything down.
Well, it was perfect.
But, you know, when you start and you think about what you're going to say, and then you think about what God says about marriage and
That's
love.
right.
It come out.
That's right. It was awesome. It was awesome. All right,
I
Zach,
am so happy we got to go.
you got anything else for us, or is that it?
No.
You signing off?
No. Signing off.
Thank you, Mr. Sam. All right, can you introduce yourself?
My name's David Morgan.
All right, David, what's your relationship to Miss Kay?
I first met Miss Kay
Get closer to that microphone. Sorry.
in the attendance office, I
Okay.
believe, at Northeast Jones.
Okay, so that's your earliest memory?
Yeah, and then me and Jonathan, her son, ended up having a few classes together and become, kind of fast friends. And before long, I was sneaking through the woods to go visit, their family and hang out. And so Miss Kay figured out pretty early on Jonathan wasn't going to tell her anything, so she would pump me and Heath and everybody else for information.
For what kind of information?
Oh, what the girls were doing and
What girls?
all of them. And she wanted to try to play matchmaker and all that sort of stuff
For
with
you?
everybody. For everybody.
Okay,
Yeah. Surely you've heard those conversations.
Oh, I mean, I almost feel like she was probably facilitating that between me and Jonathan. Like, she would give me, she gave me gifts. I mean,
Oh yeah. She's probably keeping you around for a reason.
Yeah, yeah.
She was something, but it wasn't just that though. I don't think. I mean, even with her taking that job at East, it was just to watch them.
Yeah.
The
She
whole
wanted to be
reason-
near them. yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. She kept a very close eye on her kids.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
I always liked that.
yeah.
I mean, nothing against my mom, but
She kept an eye on you there, too, then, huh? Miss Kay kept an eye on David?
Oh, I'm sure.
Did you spend a lot of time at their house?
I'm not gonna say a lot, but I'd sneak over there when I could.
Yeah.
I'd have to cut through the backwoods and go, what's the name of that, Old 15, and come up that way.
Yeah. Why'd you have to come that
I
way?
didn't have no driver's license or no tag or no nothing. Like 14, 13 or something.
You were driving? Then?
Oh,
my
yeah.
gosh, David. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were coming up through, I don't know what those roads, Township Road, maybe?
Yeah.
Or
Yep.
Okay.
But,
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else about Miss Kay you got?
I told Sam earlier, they were kind of, and I don't think I even realized this, till here recently, but they were kind of the parents that I used as my standard almost, in the way that she interacted with, Jonathan and Rebecca and Sam. I mean, it's almost like she was kind of like, hey, I mean, that's when I start finally settling my crazy butt down, she's probably going to be, and I don't even think I knew that, but she was like kind of the one that, it's like, that's what I want in a mom for my kids kind of thing.
That's right. Hindsight, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think you've got that.
Yes. I'm very blessed as
100%.
far as, my hope is, I'd be lost.
That's right. Well, you've taken their example, and you got 2 kids and a wife, and
I'm trying.
Doing your best. And Miss Kay's proud of. She'd be proud of you, and anytime something came up when we would be together about David Morgan, she would always have a smile on her face, with Johnson reminiscing about a story in class or just something, I don't know. I think y'all might have used to go hunting, maybe at night. I don't know.
Yeah, lots of little stuff we've drug one another into.
Oh, well, y'all were a pair for sure. So, all right. Well, thank you for sharing that, David.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for letting me.
Okay, you ready? Can you introduce yourself? Talking to the microphone.
Hello, my name is Rebecca Staples.
All right, and how old are you?
I'm 5. I used to be 4, and when I was a baby, I was 1, and then I turned 2, and then I turned 3, and then when I grew up, I'm probably when I'm that. And my favorite memory of KK was when she went to my birthday and dressed up as Elsa.
She dressed up as Elsa.
Me too.
And you did too?
Yeah.
Was that the plan?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all both decided to be Elsa. And then what about the next year? What did y'all dress up as? Do you remember?
Owlette.
Y'all were both Owlette. Very good. So that's your favorite memory of KK?
Yeah.
Help us now, blessed Savior, as we go not let us fail or stumble as we go along lost way. Lead us on, oh Lord Jesus, Lord that happy home high. Hide us in thy blood so precious.
Okay, Daddy, go ahead.
Hello, we're going to try a song my uncle wrote about 1925, somewhere in that neighborhood. And we're going to give it a try. His name was Scott Allen, and the song is We Are Drifting. We are drifting, surely drifting down this rugged stream of life. Anytime we get discouraged in this world of sin and strife, let us live and work for Jesus, always walking in the light. For the end is fast approaching, eternity is now in sight. Help us now, blessed Savior, as we go not let us fail or stumble as we go along lost way. Lead us on, oh Lord Jesus, Lord that happy home high. Hide us in thy blood so precious.